Hey folks, Dave here from Australian Offroad Academy. We've been mates with the team at Thunder for quite some time, and a little while ago they messaged me, a bit muddy here, sorry. Anyway, my mates at Thunder messaged me to tell me they had a new DC coming out, which was cool because I happened to be building a new car at the time. Now, what I really liked about this DC firstly was the IP67 rating. Now, not a fan of putting DC in front of the radiator, and in the other car it's going to be in front of the intercooler as well. Look, the IP67 lets us mount it pretty much anywhere. It can handle up to 90 degrees. That's pretty awesome. So if that's going into an enclosed space in the back of a ute, maybe, not in my case, or if it's going under the bonnet, the fact that it's water and dust resistant to IP67 standard is actually pretty huge. One of the other things I really liked about it is the fact that you can chain them together. Now, I'm only starting out with a 20 amper, but if my needs change, you know, let's face it, they do, and I needed to add another 20, so I'm not wasting what I've started with, but I can chain another 20 in there. Now, each of those DCs can take solar input of up to 300 watt. If you wanted to use more than that and you had two DCs, you could actually plug them in basically parallel to each other and handle up to 600. Now, that's a lot of solar. One of the things that a lot of people get a bit caught out, one of the things people get a bit caught out on is we have a whole bunch of folks who want to use household panels, you know, those 50 volt panels. The new DC can handle that 50 volt input. Look, it's not the best. No one's suggesting it's a good idea. But you know, there's folks that like to use it, and maybe if they're using it stationary, they just sort of pull it out when they set up camp. Sure, whatever. No one's going to suggest that bolting a household panel to the top of your caravan or top of your four-wheel drive is a good idea. But we all know that there's people who take that pathway. Anyway, the new DC will handle that 50 volt input. I guess that's kind of cool. That's sort of future-proofing, I suppose, a little bit. One of the other very cool things though is the little Bluetooth display. Now, we don't need to run any heavy cabling. We don't need any sensor wires to run up into the cab of the car or the caravan or the trailer or wherever you're putting this. The Bluetooth unit, the display is actually talking through Bluetooth to the DC. You only need to power it. So that could be a cigarette lighter socket. Like if this is a tradies trailer that you're working on and maybe different drivers are using it, which, yeah, I guess that's possible. Or maybe you've got a battery box that you're mounting in the back of multiple different cars, you know, a car for during the week, car for the weekend, then being able to just sort of run the display unit off a cigarette lighter socket, for example, might be really handy. So there's no wiring to the display. It's not a touch panel, it is just a display. It's just telling you what you need to know. Now, when you pull up and the engine stops and the DC stops running off the alternator and starts, working off the solar panel, that'll switch over automatically. That's pretty clever too. What I'd like there, honestly, you know, because we've all seen these ridiculous builds where we've got these panels, you know, control panels taking up half the car. You can't mess with them when you're driving anyway. So the fact that you can have just a little readout that tells you everything you need to know about your battery condition and your charging rate, that's all you need in the front of your car while you're out and about. And it's a tiny little Slimline unit. You can just Velcro it to the dash, job done. So yeah, pretty excited to see where these new DCs start popping up. I love the idea of being able to chain them. A few of my mates are already thinking that may well be the thing that sends them across the line. It's a much nicer looking unit, if I may, sorry. It is a much nicer looking unit than that big blue one that they used to have. It's certainly more compact, which is cool. Better mounting options. Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a bit of a winner. So look forward to seeing where you put your new DCs. So many more choices. Look forward to seeing you getting out and about. Catch you later. Bye.